Today, we're going to be uncovering a piece of the puzzle when it comes to Call of Duty's secret matchmaking algorithm. For years, the community has speculated on how it works and even argued with the entire blog post that Call of Duty themselves put out describing somewhat how it works. However, some very clever people just found a way to get real data that Activision collects on all of its players, and no, this isn't a conspiracy video. Activision is legally required to provide that data to you if you ask. So we're going to be going over what data they collect, how you can access your own personal data, and what it means for the matchmaking in Call of Duty. First and foremost, I gotta give a shout out to Exclusive Ace for covering this first, because I guess one of his members in chat told him about it, and he made a video showing how to actually submit a request for the data and showing his results in the video. And we'll go over kind of what he found in a little bit. But first, we have to talk about skill-based or engagement-optimized matchmaking. So ever since the release of Modern Warfare 2019, we all know that's when the crazy matchmaking started, and it's since gotten more sophisticated. But even before that, we all knew that Call of Duty was tracking your elo or skill rating in the background. But it's always been hidden for some reason. I really liked the fact that XDefiant always showed you your skill ratings so you could see how you were performing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that likes feedback in stats like that because it gives me something to work towards besides just leveling up or grinding camos, and you kind of know where you stand in the overall, scheme of the player base in terms of your skill. Now, obviously in ranked, you have a public rank based on the points that you earn, but just because you're a Crimson or Iridescent or whatever, gold level player, that's just the rank that you've earned during that season. It doesn't necessarily mean that you could be a great gold player and you just stop there and you could have a higher quote-unquote skill rating than somebody that made it to Crimson or Iridescent. But for some reason, Call of Duty has always hidden our actual skill rating from us, and I'd have to imagine that somewhere Activision is pretty pissed off that someone figured this out, and now everybody is going to be hitting them with requests for their personal data. They really want to keep this kind of thing on the down low because engagement optimized, spending optimized, whatever you want to call it, matchmaking really only works if players don't know it's happening. And I think that's part of the reason why so many players are leaving Black Ops 6 and Warzone. The game is already in a rough state, but the fact that so many people are now aware of the fact that there is some sort of manipulation going on is enough for them to just be done with the game. Nobody likes being forced to play against pro players just because they had a good match, or being gifted a bot lobby because the game thinks you're about to get off, unless they hand you a nice easy layup lobby. So let's jump into the data and see what all we can find. I submitted my request yesterday, and unfortunately I haven't gotten my data back yet, so I'm gonna have to go off what everyone else has posted online. Now, according to Nero Cinema, Call of Duty is tracking your kills, score, hits, longest streak, deaths, executions, damage done, shots fired, assists, kills, headshots, suicides, damage taken, and percentage of time moving. Now, before we freak out, some of this is fairly normal, makes a lot of sense, especially because it goes to your stats in the combat record as well as tracking camo challenges for things like headshots, etc. The one that stands out the most to me is percentage of time moving, because the only reason I can think of to track that would be to pair you with other players who move around the map the same as you. And we can assume all of this gets wrapped up into your overall quote-unquote skill rating that until now has been hidden and is constantly being adjusted based on your recent performance. Now, the problem is, until more people start submitting these requests and sharing their skill rating, we won't actually have a good range to understand what is average, above, and below average. So from Exclusive Ace's video, we can see that when he was doing some testing, his skill rating dropped all the way down to 175 and spiked back up to 402 when he started playing like normal again. So at the moment, we can assume 402 is above average considering Ace is a good player. I'll be really curious to see if pro players start putting out their stats as well as to get my own back, and I'm honestly a little afraid that I'm more of a bot than I think that I am, but Call of Duty does not want you to know about this. So next I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to provide links to things like Activision's official site, Exclusive Ace's video, and Nero Cinema's video below. But the short version of it is that you can go onto Activision's privacy site, select to submit a request, select the country and area you live in, then log into your Activision account, connect your Call of Duty account, and you're done. Then you hit submit and you'll have your data emailed to you in a few days. This also contains things like your IP address, so don't just publish the whole thing online once you get it. Be careful to only share data that you're comfortable with sending out to the whole world. Now, this is a step in the right direction, but the issue here is that we're missing quite a lot of context. For example, what does Call of Duty do with that skill rating? How frequently is it making adjustments to your matchmaking? And ultimately, we don't really know what the goal of the algorithm is optimizing for and we'll probably never know because the engineers that build this thing are never going to be allowed to talk about it. In theory, this could be used to track your relative skill rating at any given time, and if it wants to keep you playing longer, they have all of your playtime data stored somewhere, so they may be able to identify patterns in your playtime and try to put their hand on the scale to tilt the odds in favor of giving you games that historically keep you on longer. For example, hypothetically, if you're having an off day, they may notice that in the past, if you go up against too many skilled players or you take too many losses early on, you tend to get off quickly, cutting your playtime in half for the day. So they may start matching you into easier lobbies to keep you on the game until you start to play well enough that they think it's time for you to have a challenge again. All of this, of course, is speculation, but I think you see the point that I'm making here. Call of Duty so badly doesn't want you to find out about this type of information that at one point, we had publicly available stat trackers where you could see each player's KD in the lobby, the average lobby KD, and you could actually go to any player's page on these stat tracking sites. You could see their overall account performance as well as their recently played performance. But sometime during Vanguard or Modern Warfare 2, they actually changed all of that data to be set to private by default, so it was no longer publicly accessible by these sites unless you logged into your account and set it to public, which, let's be honest, even the most die-hard Call of Duty players are just not gonna do. With that being said, I have been running an experiment in the background that I'll be finishing up this weekend, and I'll be uploading the video. I had an idea on how you can actually tell Call of Duty what type of games you want to be put into, and without a VPN or two-boxing, they'll actually give it to you. So if you're interested in that type of video, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell for when that video goes live, and if you want to check out another one of my videos, click here.